win games was just mind-blowing, and I feel like that we're getting to see some of that magic today. Furia is pushed to Game 5 once more. Yesterday they fell short against G2, and you have to think that they learned a lot from that. We heard from some of the players, the adaptations that they've had to make. They move into the bans and quickly, Nocturne, Maokai, Yone, the same bans that we saw in the previous game.
Yeah, Varus, Sion, Akali, lots of similar bans here getting spent. It is going to be a really interesting one. It does feel like Kiaya is consistently getting the best of Gigo, but likewise, Toots is consistently getting the best of the mid laners, whether it's Eris or Emo. And it is going to be a Karma first pick, which is very interesting here. Ezreal yet to be played. I wonder if we are angling towards just a Karma Ezreal late in the game. And we have a different combo. You've seen the Nocturne Orianna combo. This can kind of work somewhat similarly with the ult coming through from the Nefiri. So we'll see if Levi can pull it off here with Eris.
The Trundle finally getting into the hands of Tatu. We've seen it banned multiple times from both sides.
There it is.
The Ezreal.
That's what I figured.
I mean, my instincts were just lock in the Ezreal, very safe AD carry. It's a really good pick in general, let alone for a Game 5. You pair it up with the Karma. Assuming the Karma is even going into the bot lane, there's always the flexibility that the champion provides.
MF is up and available. It has been something that's been getting banned a lot, but instead they're going to go towards Kai'Sa. The question for me with Kai'Sa is, what is the pairing? Because you don't really have
100%.
much CC at all so far. You could look towards like an Ornn or something like that in the top lane if you want to get CC from there. But as far as the engaged champions in bot lane, you're really looking at some like weird stuff. Like, because all the traditional engage supports are already taken away. Of course, there's lots of things that you can do, like fiddle support was popular for a while. There's all kinds of wild things you can do. But as far as like the meta support picks in pro play, I mean, also the engage supports are gone.
Pairings alongside Kai'Sa too. Like,
yeah,
you think of Leona, Nautilus, Rel, other traditional
Rakan,
ones.
Alistar, they're all gone.
So, even Nico could have been an option that's
Nico's
also gone
as well.
So let's see what Elio has prepared for us. The Victor, another control mage, going to be removed from Toots.
So, I mean, he has played some pretty weird stuff, I will say.
Yes.
I remember in the finals, he brought out a Heimerdinger. It did not work. But like Heimer, Bard, he's played all kinds of things. You could play an Enchanter alongside it, but generally you want hard engage. Blitz, I do think, is a really good nod. That is one of those hard engage champs that you could play alongside with it. Though it is not something that he did play this split.
Is it weird that my instincts are like volley bear support? Like that?
Yes.
Ryze going to be removed from mid lane pool. Traditionally a good matchup for Orianna, but with the Ryze gone, no ability to play more towards the side lanes.
I think it's just saying he's too good on control mages. Like, they don't want him playing that style. And he was incredible on the Azir. Honestly, he's been fantastic throughout the series. His Ahri game earlier was amazing. He has definitely been looking really strong. Has been getting the mid lane advantages. It is Jace as that ban here. Final ban.
Clearly Furia is like, I don't know what support you've got, because we've also ran out of ideas.
I mean, Elio might have something completely cooked, or they might just be going for like, hey, it's just an Enchanter and we're just going to throw in Kai'Sa because we think Kai'Sa is pretty good in the 1v1 against the Ezreal.
Maybe.
But my problem is, you're not just going up against Ezreal in isolated 1v1. You're going up against Ezreal Karma, which is so difficult, the amount of poke that they can put out. And since you don't have any hard engaged champions to actually answer that, and Kai'Sa can't really answer as far as the poke, Bard is definitely a great playmaker, but the 2v2, I think they're going to get absolutely slammed.
But I also just think that like Bard's placement is his ability to either act as an engage on low mobility champions or to interrupt things that like channels or something like that. And Ezreal, Trundle, Karma, like these are the type of champions that run out of Bard ultimate, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's very difficult to engage on, and I would have preferred if they'd saved it. I understand why they want to try and give Kiaya a winning matchup. He's had a great series overall. With the Gnar blind pick coming through, Kiaya has a ton of options that he could go towards.
Yeah,
if they want to really commit to dives, something like a Camille could be great.
It definitely could. I mean, that kind of, I feel like it pincers you a bit into playing that split push style. Kassadin, Game 5. We have been seeing more Kassadin. You know, I know that Jojo Pion was playing it in the EU, and we have seen it, you know, a number of times, especially when you get late and fearless. A lot of the champions that are really difficult for Kassadin to deal with are no longer on the table. That being said, I don't think Orianna is the absolute easiest matchup by any means, because the auto attacks are actually quite strong. And if Eris is really pressuring, I do think that could be problematic.
Gang playing. But what I will say about Kassadin, Excited to see the gangplank going towards Kiaya, but Kassadin is afraid of similar things to Viego. That hard CC, if you lock him down, he gets killed really quickly.
They have like no
There's
CC.
nothing. He's not really afraid of anything, and the laning phase will be the scariest part for him.
Yeah.
But you can go hyper defensive. You can go for the full scaling build, like the tier plus Rod of Ages.
With resolve secondary,
yeah,
second win,
exactly.
D-shield.
You can just go for full scaling, and the thing is, if you make a single mistake, if he gets one kill, it becomes so difficult to deal with. So in game 5s, I do love seeing things like the Kassadin.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like, on paper, I prefer the Furia draft. I think that they have good side lane threat, they've got good scaling, I think they've got good lane matchups as well. The Gangplank is a nice twist. I think it can be really good into the Gnar, and it can have some great teamfight value. But this Ezreal, it's such a strong pick. To have it all the way in game 5, I feel gives Furia so much safety for IU to really step up and be a big carry.
It really does, and I mean, it's just going to be so interesting to see, because I do think GAM, their comfort zone somewhat is these more non-traditional comps. Because you think about, like, how are they going to start a fight? It's likely they're going to look for a Bard ult, and then out of the Bard ult, GP ult gets dropped on your head, then if Fury comes in with the Shockwave, it's going to be that type of a play. But it's not just the Ezreal, it's, you know, Kassadin can just riff walk out of these Bard ults and dodge those. You have, you know, the Karma shields that you talked about for the speed up there. Gnar can hop out of it. Like, there's a lot of difficulties there, I think, for Bard to be able to land those key ultimates. It's not impossible, of course, but it is going to be very difficult.
And that's later into the game. That's not even factoring in the early laning phase
2v2, I think, is going to be
this
brutal.
bot lane has to play through. Bard, Kai'Sa, into Ezreal, Karma. It's a tough one.
Well, and you can see that he realizes it. It's Fleet there for the Kai'Sa. So the Kai'Sa is just going to try to rune towards that, hope that helps out a little bit. You can also see it's Fleet on the Gangplank, so it is not going to be the very typical grasp. Sometimes people even go towards Comet in some of these range matchups. That has become a little bit more popular for some of the people that are liking to do this kind of like splash of AP in some of the GP builds. That has become a bit more meta, but it is Fleet. So the thing with Fleet on GP is when it is ready, you can actually just Q the Gnar and get the full heal because you don't have to just kind of waste it on a minion. So there is something to be said about that, but definitely concerned about how GAM are going to do in the 2v2 bot lane. Just feels like a really tough matchup.
Well, let's see. Again, the thing about GAM is that they've been in positions, like in the Talon series, they stole Elder twice. One of them was with a Tristana. Like, the word magic really, like, they just find ways to win games. That's just what they do. And we'll see if they can bring the magic here in game 5.
Yeah.
Both these teams have worked very hard this year to get to this point, and it all comes down to a single game. And their road to the MSI main stage isn't even over yet. They'll still have to play another best of 5 tomorrow.
Yeah, I really want to see Eris continuing to pressure Toots here. Toots has just been so good throughout the series. You need to keep him locked down. If you give Kassadin a free lane, you are going to be in trouble. He did not go for the absolute safest lane setup. He didn't go for Fleet. He did go Conqueror, but he is Resolve secondary, and he is D-Shield, so he's going to have second win in D-Shield. That is pretty difficult to actually get through. And a lot of these kind of matchups is about minimizing the damage you take as Kassadin and timing your Qs, your force pulses, with when the spells are coming out from Eris, so you're not just kind of wasting that magic damage shield that does come through. So we'll see how he's going to be able to do that.
Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, things are going exactly as we expected. Artemis has missed, well, he's missed 7 CS in the first 2 waves, and the bullying from IU and Jojo has been oppressive. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, there's also that push advantage for Gigo, and the 1v1 early on for Gangplank is a little difficult.
Elio just based for a refillable in a ward. I'm kind of a bit surprised. He was still at like 2/3 health, but I guess he just feels like he'd rather give the solo XP to Artemis or something, but I'm not really sure that Artemis is going to have a good time farming under the tower by himself. You can see he's about half of the farm of his opponent, and now down that full wave. He's going to take a base of his own. Now thinks better of it as Toots is getting put low, but again, this becomes then a bit of a race between your mana versus Kassadin's health. And Eris is losing out on that race right now. It was a well-timed Q from Toots to be able to absorb that last command attack.
-1 there for Kiaya. There's Toots sitting underneath his tower, feeling relatively safe for the time being. I mean, the farm is pretty much dead even regardless of his HP. He's in a completely fine position. The bot lane, still a very rough situation already. A 250 gold lead, and we're only 3.5 minutes in. Artemis is no stranger to some difficult bot lane matchups over the last 2 days with the split maps that have been happening to him, but in this 2 versus 2, It is Furia that is off to the races. Kiaya taking a bit of damage, has the level advantage, flashes in.
Had that passive auto ready.
There's
They're going to go for the
Levi.
dive. Levi is there to collect it, resets it on the aggro with the W. Well done. Kiaya getting aggressive. This is the recipe to success. Go to the top lane. Kiaya and Levi do it again.
I mean, it's a tried and true playbook for this roster at this point, trying to play through the top side of the map. And it was just very well played. Kiaya found some really nice trades. He was level 4 to level 3 as well. And then Levi was in a position to capitalize on the backside. You look at the minimap, you can see he's done the clear up towards top side. He kills the Scuttle Crab. He hasn't been spotted on vision yet. At first, this flash seems very odd. Flashing in gets an auto attack. The burn comes through, but then Gigo realizes, that's why you've done it, to set up for Levi to get this first kill.
Absolutely. And honestly, if that coat is so sick, I'm not going to lie, man. That guy's got swag. Even if you flash in like that and the jungler's not there, if he doesn't also respond with his own flash, your next auto Q probably kills him.
Right.
So, and the Trial by Fire is really powerful. You have to play around that GP passive so well. Eris here has gone back to base, does have a tier for himself. And you can see Toots is going to be working in towards that Roa. Doesn't go for the early tier, so he went for a much less greedy build here. He just goes double Ruby for survival. Not going to go 1 tier and 1 Ruby. And I feel like that's totally fine because he has been farming well. He has not been getting pressured that heavily. And Eris, very soon, he's going to have to deal with a level 6 Kassadin where he can actually start to trade back.
I will say that one of the advantages of the Seraphs on Kassadin is just that extra bit of protection you have, because you are effectively a melee champion, right? So in the late game, having that extra bit of shielding can be very valuable. We've seen many Kassadin builds, though, where you kind of go for one or the other, and ultimately choosing not to go for the Seraphs is not the end of the world.
And I think he probably still will get the tier. My assumption is he's just trying to rush towards Catalyst to really try to, secure his lane phase and then probably grab the tier later. But it is possible you can definitely go tierless. But mana is just at such a premium on Kassadin. It really is all about that, because getting the stacks of your Rift Block is where you get so much of your damage from in that late game. So you really have to have the mana to be able to actually maintain that and keep pushing those ultimates over and over and over.
My personal favorite thing about Kassadin is just the way in which chat always looks at a clock and they slowly count down to the level 16. So many have experienced level 16 Kassadin before, and the stress that it puts on players as it gets closer to that level 3 ultimate, where the cooldown, I mean, it's sub 2 seconds.
Doesn't have a cooldown anymore, actually, at that point.
It's pretty ridiculous. So he is kind of that late game champion, and the thing is, we talked about Prio. I love that GAM has been able to get some control over the top side, but the constant pressure they have in bot means that Furia still have a way to easily escort this Kassadin towards the mid and late game, and I think that's so crucial when playing a champion like this.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be AD here for Artemis. He has that Scout Slingshot, so is going to be working in towards a more heavily AD build, very likely. You can see IU already on Sheen tier, going to be feeling really good about that, as Toots is able to leave lane and grab all of the honey fruit, so he'll be staying around. He's basically farming dead even, and bot lane, of course, does not have that luxury here. Artemis just doing his best to survive. Not surprised at all by how the 2v2 is going. I expected it would be very rough, and it has been. Elio, though, does have his teleport available, so it'll be interesting to see if he makes a play. One of the things I love when I am playing Bard with Spellbook is you don't use a TP to go back to lane. You actually go roam elsewhere, try to attack somewhere on the map, see if you can make a play, and then you save that TP to go back towards bot lane to cover. And it seems like that is the plan right now for Elio. Just wants to be active.
While we were yapping, important to note that Levi did also steal away the blue buff, and so Tatu going to be a little sad when he shows up and realizes his blue buff is gone. Tatu was covering around the bot side of the map, so Levi found a nice window where he was able to pick up that objective. Meanwhile, we see both supports hovering around the top side of the map. Ezreal now moving towards the mid lane in order to catch that wave, get some control over it in order to be in a position to contest the grub spawning in 5 seconds. Tatu makes his presence known. Elio just going to take the portal away to safety, and Kassadin now finds himself in the bot lane, more than happy to just pick up this farm.
You can see Artemis is moving up, though. GAM, as always, want to fight. They are going to try to have that extra man advantage because, remember, Toots has no teleport available right now, so the Kassadin will not be able to join. The GP has no teleport either, but you can still join with the Cannon Barrage, with your ultimate. You're kind of that extra half man. And if they can actually spot Gigo, they'll see that his Meganar is already popped and would be expiring, but GAM now not going for it just yet. They're trying to maintain some control here in mid lane, and Kassadin has been bought the time to move up. Now they have the extra man on the side of Furia, as it is Levi here contesting for these grubs. But Tatu able to grab the first one for his team, and it doesn't really feel like GAM have an easy way into this. I think they're just going to have to trade for plates, but Levi wants to at least smite one away. He's going to look for it. They're going in onto IU. He follows after. In comes Artemis. Here comes the Cannon Barrage as well. Levi's going to get knocked down, but can Artemis trade? Yes, he can. Artemis now getting the damage down on the JoJo as he flashes out to safety. Artemis trying to fight against Toots here. He'll flash forward right past the Kassadin, trying to finish him off, and he will do just that. But it's Toots and Tatu fighting back, taking down Eris here as he's got nowhere to go. They want to give it to the Kassadin, and they should be able to. It's a double kill for the Kassadin, and that could spell trouble for GAM.
Tatu also going to get the third grub. A chaotic fight breaks out around the objective as GAM tried to force the combo onto IU, using the Neferi with the ball from Orianna to try and one-shot this Ezreal, but the combo doesn't quite connect, which means that GAM find themselves very deep in a situation that they can't really escape from. They've committed to trying to get these kills, and Toots benefits massively.
Question is, did he overstay? Can they find a punish? He's staying away from the wall there, does not want to get stunned against it. Toots too tanky, even going back in here, liking his chances. Has not spent up his gold, so he's got a ton in pocket. We'll see exactly how much he does have. He stayed on the map for quite a while, so I wouldn't be completely shocked if he did get towards that Roa right now, with his farm being very good and a double kill. We'll see how close he gets. Yeah, there's the Roa. That's enormous. He has Roa tier at 10 minutes on Kassadin, and he is up 650 gold over Eris. This Kassadin is already going to be a problem.
Yep. I mean, I was hoping to get a replay of that last fight because I wanted to showcase how GAM just really overcommitted. The idea being that with Gangplank and Gigo being stuck in the bot side of the map, they had the Cannon Barrage to assist with the backline dive. We know how good Levi is at locking down AD carries. He flashes in, he uses the R from Levi, but Ayu immediately ease out. He immediately gets away to safety, and the shockwave just doesn't quite connect. And even though they do end up getting that kill, considering how deep they had to go, Toots is just like, all right, I will just pick up kill after kill. He gets himself a double. They get themselves 3 grubs, and Furia, while the gold is not strictly in their favor, the advantage that they're currently sitting on is pretty significant.
It absolutely is, but I mean, it's kind of flashback to last game. It's can Kiaya make the difference on the top side, where he was getting those early solo kills. During that attack on Grubs, he took a plate bot. He's now up 1,000 gold already, has the early Triforce completed. Tatu moving down here with JoJo, though. Artemis is caught out, and Artemis has no flash. I don't think he's getting out of this one, but Levi is coming in, trying to support. He's going to ult to the side, trying to get away from Toots, but Toots is right there waiting. Levi goes in with the Hound's Pursuit, but he's got to run for it now. Eris here to try to back him up, but it's Elio in trouble on the side as Tatu's going to flash forward. He flashes over the wall to try to get back to safety. The command protect there from Eris will keep him safe just barely. But again, another kill for Kassadin. 1K ahead this early. Eris is staying around. I don't know if he really should be. Could be in a lot of trouble here. They're going to look for the dive. The shockwave connects on multiple members, though, and Levi looking for the cleanup here. They get the kill onto Eris, but Levi gets one back. Levi now looking for Tatu, who has no flash, and he's going to get a second. There's a double back for Levi as he wants even more. Toots should be able to get out to safety, though, with his ulti.
I mean, GAM navigate the situation pretty well, but it's Toots that still gets himself another kill. The Kassadin continues to ramp up. Even though Furia, they overextended on the play, it ends up overall being a 2-for-2. And notice Artemis quickly moves his way towards mid lane. The death timer's not that long, sets his sight on this wave, pushes in deep, secures a plate for himself, and is able to get a little bit more gold back, ticking over to level 9 even. We'll look back at the play, and it's Artemis that's first to fall. A really good placement of the pillar means that he has nowhere to go. He tries his best to use the ultimate to create some space, but Toots commits the flash, secures the kill. At this point, Fury is saying, hey, Elio is very low. I think we can make a play. But Eris makes the bold decision to stick around, thinking that he can get this wave. He has no authority to stick around underneath this tower. Levi feels like he has to stay in support. A 3-man shockwave comes through, and Toots gets the aggro, which means that he can't really assist with the damage, forcing him back, and that leaves Tatu in a very awkward position underneath the tower.
Yep, laughing about the dive there, but still things going well overall. Close game, only 500 gold separating the two, but Kassadin is going to be the problem. Of course, there is some powerful scaling on the other side, and you're looking at the Gangplank to maybe try to be a difference maker, but Kassadin versus a team with low CC is always so tough to deal with.
I mean, I will say that there is a traumatic personal experience where Bin on a Gangplank did in fact crush the hopes and dreams of Europe. So I know what Gangplank can do in the late game. There's always that possibility.
Yep.
We'll just have to see if Kiaya can make that happen. Levi hovering over the wall.
Levi is looking, IU posturing very aggressively, but Jojo comes in. Now the Bard ulti is there. Can he find the angle to actually land the stun? He can. He nails it, and Kiaya is looking for a solo at the same time. He gets the solo, and in goes Artemis to get a second. They're winning across the map. GAM roar to life and take kills in mid and top.
GAM are making the magic happen. They get a solo kill on the top side. They punish the Ezreal. The ultimate from Elio that we thought would be so difficult to connect, he finds it onto IU. And they convert it into a kill. The Bard Q as well. Tatu tries to body block. He gets very close to the Bard, thinking, I won't let you connect it onto the Ezreal on the wall. But then Tatu ends up being the wall. So he ends up connecting that binding, allowing for GAM to chase down the Ezreal. They extend the gold lead ever so slightly. And Artemis, who suffered a very difficult laning phase, finds himself nearly a full level up over IU. In terms of gold, it's practically dead even. And we once again find ourselves in a situation where it is Toots that's holding on to the gold lead. We'll look back at this 1v1 and it's just the Gangplank just running Gigo down.
Yeah, really well played. He hits that first barrel, knows he can just go in for the flash. As soon as the flash is responded to, just drops the GP ulti for the slow, and then this is back to that binding you were talking about, Vetty.
A nice binding comes through, the ultimate committed by Artemis as well. Levi is the one that picks it up.
Yeah, you gotta love it. They are excited, man. This is what they work for all year long. Levi will be able to hop over the pillar. Is pretty safe against that pillar, honestly, as you can just kind of use the Eviscerate to just jump over it time and time again. Tatu, has been trying to do his best to use those pillars to great effect, but they haven't always gotten the most.
I always turn my attention to the neutral objectives.
Level 11.
And there aren't really that many on the board to play for. Yeah, the level 11, level 2 ultimate now for Toots. The Herald becomes the next focus. You can already see Furia gathering on the top side. Arrest needs to play very careful. Elio kind of fishing, seeing what information he can gather. A lot of the vision just being denied by the control wards put out by Furia. Artemis going to clear out this mid wave. Kiaya has joined the group. GAM, I feel like, need to force something or convert this into something because that bot tower is completely exposed.
It absolutely is, but they're going to be forcing at this objectives. This has been the recipe, whether for success or failure, all series long. GAM is going to show up to the objective and they're going to try to fight you. And
they have the GP ult too. They can just throw that bot lane if they want to clear out that wave. It's going to commit the TP instead.
Oh, he's going to get interrupted, though. He tried to TP in their face and just gets pillared out of it by Tatu. So now that is -1 on the teleport and -1 on the tower, very likely here, as Gigo should be able to close the gold gap and be able to pick up something for himself.
Nice objective secure. That's going to be the first tower of the game. GAM want to respond in kind in the mid lane. They have the Herald. They should be able to knock this one over. The bot wave needs to go and be caught by Kiaya, so he's going to make his way down.
And that teleport getting interrupted is actually so critical because that's first tower feat for Furia. It would have been for GAM with the Herald that they just grabbed, and that would have been feats of strength. They would have grabbed those upgraded boots right there because they already had the feats of warfare. As a result, it's going to come down to this next objective, which will be the Dragon here in 45. Whoever grabs that, not only will they get the stats, not only will they likely get a teamfight win, they're going to get the upgraded boots too.
Static Shiv and the Rage Blade now finished for Artemis. Level 11 means that he also has level 2 on the ulti. It's strange how this Kassadin that felt like such a force still continues to scale up, but feels somehow more manageable as Artemis continues to get stronger, and this Gangplank is getting so terrifying.
I mean, Levi, again, 1K gold lead. He just finished the Black Cleaver. There's a lot of physical damage, obviously, on their team. He's going to be shredding that armor for them. GP going to be problematic here too. Still maintaining over 1,000 gold, even with that local tower gold going to them. But they're going to look for a dive on Air as he clears out the wave. Can he survive here? Tatu's tanking it up. The shockwave comes through. Great Bard ulti to buy some time. The GP ulti as well coming through as Jojo. It's just going to go down. It's a 1-for-1 for now. And now Gigo does take up that tower. It's just Elio up on the top side by himself. But it does mean that Dragon is going to go to GAM. They get a 1-for-1 on the top side. They claim feats and the Dragon on the bot side. And no one's there to answer the GP just yet because Gigo has no TP. Kassadin TP'd mid. This is definitely problematic here for Furia.
GAM have easy access towards this bot tower. It's likely going to be a trade, but as you already identified, the Dragon being secured for GAM means that they will get the feats of warfare. Gigo a little bit slower to secure the objective, but Eris doing his best in the 3 versus 1, 4 versus 1. The Gangplank ultimate doing massive work. The Seraph Shield also providing a lot of value. Toots, yeah, he's going to interrupt your pack, Kiaya. He's giving you the thumbs up.
I love it.
All right, so GAM in a great position. 2 dragons to their name. Levi going to clear out this ward. And now this is where the big objectives really start to spawn. A lot of the outer towers become unavailable. GAM should set their sights on that top tier 1. Furia will ideally want to knock down this mid tier 1, which means that Vision needs to start getting deeper into the enemy jungle, controlling those spaces in order to set up for these objectives. Elio just providing the necessary cover. Eris doesn't have a tower to help him defend, which means that he needs that additional bit of support.
You can see Toots almost level 13 and 9 stacks on the Roa, so he'll pretty soon, in a minute here, he'll be 14 and a bit. So definitely going to be on the minds here of GAM. That time could be running out on that level 16 here for Toots. Of course, it is not a guaranteed win by any means, but you can be incredibly effective. You do still have to be very careful that if you do go in and you get hit by any sort of CC, you know, Bard Binding or something like that catches you, you can still get burst down. So there is that to worry about, but GAM moving around the map now. It is Gigo pushing down bot lane, but of course the tier 1 was already gone, so not any immediate response available for Furia. As GAM, I feel like playing the map better in this game than for the rest of the series, really. They are answering pretty well.
I like the way that they set their sights on the tier 1 tower in the top lane. Just a nice transition through mid into top. Kiaya can now go catch the bot wave as well. Furia don't really have easy options. That mid tower is a difficult one to siege, especially with the static shiv sitting on Artemis. The wave clear is difficult to pierce through. While the poke is something that Aryu will have a decent amount of, the Moramana also about to come through soon. I think that GAM are doing a really good job here. 20 minutes in. The next few fights are going to be massive. Ideally, Orianna wants to complete that second item. But there's Toots level 14, that level advantage we were talking about coming through from the Rod of Ages.
14 and a half, only a level and a half to go to hit that massive power spike here for Kassadin. Of course, it's only 20 minutes into the game, so level 16 will be very fast. Elio will take a chunk and is going to pop both the barrier and heal that he had from the spellbook there to keep his health high. Will not be in danger of dying, but just going to continue cycling through that summoner spellbook. We'll see if he can find a big moment later on into the game to really make something happen with that. I do think it's so effective there as they're going to go in with the Hound's Pursuit, looking for Tatu. The Shockwave doesn't connect as Tatu flashed out to safety. Jojo now looking for the tether, but it's going to be Levi just eviscerating over the wall, gets back to safety here as Toots again pushing up through top. Furia, respectful, use the flash, but now they're actually going to pull Otacon.
Ooh, yeah, I was going to say, I think that it's nice to make a play like that when there's not really a big objective on the map, but of course with Otacon there, that is something that Furia can force, knowing that the Shockwave combo is unavailable. 2 big ultimates used by GAM. Tatu getting very low, though.
I mean, you could solo it for sure, and it is going to be spotted out, especially with Jojo there to help. It wouldn't even have to be a solo trip. They are aware of it. Can they get over to stop it? That's the question. Now the TP is going to come in from Kiaya. They know that they have committed to it. Artemis taking a little bit of damage there from Jojo as he tried to enter. Kiaya arrives. Elio still not there. The TP coming in. This is a dangerous position to TP in. Gigo going to take a bit of damage there as the barrel chain will not connect. Heal's going to be used by Jojo. The Otacon getting very low. It's a nice Bard ulti coming through. Can they time the barrel out of it? No, they cannot. Kiaya cannot connect on that one. Gigo down to half HP, but he almost has the Magnar already. The Otacon getting incredibly low, and it's going to be taken by Levi. Not to be outdone, steals it away. Do they want more? It looks like the answer is yes. Gigo trying to find a good ulti. He whiffs. He doesn't connect. He tries to flash out to safety now. Gigo in some trouble. Kiaya trying to keep them interested. Toot's going to go back in for Levi. Chunks him down. In comes the Hound's Pursuit. Oh! And the Shockwave is delivered by Levi. And that may just be that. Levi finds the window. Steals the Otacon. Takes the team fight. This man cannot be stopped.
The flash from Levi to guarantee the connection of the Shockwave was massive. GAM with another huge teamfight win. Swing the momentum in their favor. The smite battle comes through. An ambitious Otacon start is secured by Levi. Then GAM play with patience. They play the fight slowly. Once the objective goes down, they realize what they have to be afraid of. Gigo looks for a Gnar ultimate, isn't able to find it as Levi creates enough space. Then Toots, he goes in, and that is the fatal mistake. The engage comes through, the ultimate from Levi, the connection, he doesn't even have to flash, connects onto 3. The rest of GAM quickly follow through. Furia fall apart with 4 down. GAM set their sights on the best of 5 victory.
Oh, they're locked in.
Captain Levi at the helm. The third dragon moving to Soul Point.
And I draw your eyes to the summoner spells. They spent everything in a lost fight. Over on the other side, all 5 flashes available. Not a single flash available there for Furia as GAM now move to Soul Point here. As he called out, 6,000 gold lead. And Eris really able to find the follow-up. Good timing on the Shockwave. Great combo there with Levi. That's why they drafted it. It's kind of this like miniature Nocturne combo that you can pull off, and it has been very effective. The top side for GAM just always doing work, but they're looking for Kiaya. Kiaya trying to be supported here. It's going to be a teleport in from Elio. Nice use of the spellbook.
GAM make magic. They did it on their road here. They're continuing to do it here in Game 5. Levi with a 5-1-5 scoreline. Elio's Bard, I was skeptical in the draft, but he is having an amazing performance. Those ultimates have been huge. And while the Kassadin is on the precipice of level 16, the timer that so many fear, it feels like GAM is not afraid at all. Baron now on the Rift.
Absolutely, it is going to be difficult. You know, you do still have the potential to be able to come back here. But now you're down 7K. Now you're facing down a potential Baron start, a potential Dragon Soul, to the point where, great, you hit level 16 on Kassadin, but can you even survive as you fly into the backline? Do you not just get burst down? And of course, he doesn't have a Zonias. He's not building for that. Tatu, able to just outrun this. Remember, he has the Dead Man's Plate plus the Frozen Domains. That's a lot of bonus move speed there for the Trundle. Pretty difficult for Elio to lock him down.
GAM with full control over the top side, though. They've left Tuts isolated, and there's the level 16 secured for Kassadin. The timer has been reached, but is he alone enough? Ayu needs to connect those skill shots.
Eris looking, the Shockwave forces the flash from Tatu. As he tried to step forward, Eris looks for the big play, but they do have to be careful as Gigo has the ulti available here. They want that Mega Gnar to expire, and they're going to respect it.
Mid-wave is the point of contention. That bot wave has been completely abandoned. GAM collecting as 5 in the mid lane. Notice the level difference between the AD carries as well. Artemis level 15, 13 on Ayu. He has done a fantastic job of coming back into this game.
Yeah, I've got to give so much credit to the GAM bot lane. We obviously talk so much about the top lane, but GAM's bot lane was drafted into what I consider to be a pretty big hole. It was so difficult to play out that 2v2, but they stayed relevant. They made the most of the opportunities when they did arise. They're able to find these big fights to make a big impact. Elio, with the spellbook, has been around the map a number of times, finding teleports to defend his team. Always right place, right time, it feels like, with the ulti. And this team is really stepping up here in game number 5. Tuts, though, does complete his third item. He goes for the Malignance. So now we'll have to see, from this far behind, does he feel he can go towards a Zonias? Does he feel he needs more damage, like a Death Cap or a Lich Bane or something? It's always really risky to get in these super late game scenarios and not have a Zonias, but at the same time, when your team is this far behind, building defensively sometimes is just going to spell disaster.
To feel the weight of all that pressure on Tuts' shoulders.
Again.
Ultimate doesn't connect onto Tatu. This is what we were talking about in the draft.
Frozen Domain plus Dead Man's Plate. You are fast.
Tuts is hovering on the flank.
They're going to look. Jojo does have to actually flash out. That's the Shockwave down as well as the Hound's Pursuit. They need to retreat now. Tuts trying to slow them down there as much as he possibly can as Levi does try to kite out to safety.
A lot of ultimates used there by GAM. Furia now on the offensive. They're just going to push in this wave and make their way towards the Baron.
Yeah, I think they're just going to try to force the issue here without those cooldowns up and available. Furia moving over towards the Baron, clearing this out, but there is no summoners on Jojo. This would still be so risky. The Cannon Barrage is up and available. Tuts is going to go into the enemy jungle, spots Levi. Likes his chances in that 1v1. He's chasing after Levi as he has to use the We Are Pack. Flash forward there from Tuts, trying to take him down, but not really enough damage to make it happen. And now you're missing that flash. The all-important flash ulti with that full stacked ultimate can be massive for a Kassadin.
The idea is if he gets that kill onto Levi, that's the hero play. I respect the confidence, but the execution just doesn't quite come through,
have the damage.
Which means that he doesn't get that kill. But if he had Baron, the game, everything would have swung on a single play. You understand why he makes it, and you can sense the pressure that's being felt. It doesn't connect. We'll see how much losing that flash will impact him as the game continues.
Absolutely. I mean, we're looking now 30 seconds until this next dragon here. Infernal Soul on the table for GAM. They would love to get that to try to put the finishing touches on this game, on this series, and to move on. Levi, Elio, out by themselves here, but will be A-okay from that pillar. It's all going to be about the setup here around the Dragon. Air is still not level 16. We'll see how much gold he has in pocket. Has been sitting on that large rod for a while, but it's going to be Furia pushing the pace. They don't want to allow Eris to try to have the time to base. They are on the Baron. It has been spotted out. Gigo just went Mega, though. He could look for an angle. It is revealed. Toots on the side here is going to be threatening. It's actually Kiaya just soloing the Dragon right now, so they're going to try to have a 4-man defense while the GP solos the Dragon. He can join with the ulti. It's all going to come down to a flip here. Tatu is just going to go for it, but the Baron is actually delayed by the Bard ultimate. Can Levi get it? Levi's in the pit. It's going to be a flip here. Who's going to take it in this critical game 5? It's going to be grabbed by Tatu. Gets the objective, and now Furia need to run. In comes the Hound Pursuit, though. It's Levi on the back of Gigo. He's trying to run for the hills here, but Gigo's in a lot of trouble. Jojo and Ayu trying to stay around to support their top laner as he walks out. Kiaya looking for the barrel chain, can't quite find it. Kiaya, though, looking for another one. He's loaded up, and he's going to find it on Toots. Toots has got to run. The first kill has come through. Gigo is down, and they get another as well. Jojo joins him. Toots trying to run. He needs to survive here. Levi can't quite close the gap to finish off another kill. They get the Baron, but they lose the soul, and they lose 2 kills.
Furia limp away with the Baron in tow. GAM securing the soul, force Furia to retreat after securing 2 kills. The Baron still sits on Toots, but as 3 members, can they defend against the 5-man sieging of GAM? They set their sights on the tower, and Furia, they just don't have the wave clear.
Yeah, they just need to delay. You have to give up the inhib, wait for your members to respawn. You have the Baron buff, they do not, so you can slowly clear out these waves here. We can see Ayu doing his best possible job to do that. And now for Furia, I feel like your only chance is waiting for the Elder, hoping you can get an opportunity to get that Elder stolen away, to make a comeback play there. That is really what they are counting on. As Furia go for the flip, and had they not got this, could have been horrible.
So Elio, he was just trying to buy time with the Bard ultimate. It was an insanely close flip between Levi and Tatu, and at this point they're on the retreat. The Shockwave can't quite get in range for Levi, as the Orianna is quite far behind. Levi, at this point, is trying to just find exit kills, and they're able to do it. Toots goes in, pushing Kaya away. Gigo is isolated from the rest of his team. The auto attack comes through, and the static shift does good damage to the rest. Meanwhile, they get that kill onto Jojo, and a lot of summoners were used as Furia was desperately trying to escape with as many Barons as possible.
Yeah, you can see the emotion from the crowd. Play goes right, you know, you feel it. You feel the hope, you feel the joy. A play goes wrong, you can feel it sink. That horrible feeling of knowing you are close to your trip here being over. Furia, though, of course, are not out of it just yet. Era's still not on the death cap here, but Kiaya is going for a kill onto Gigo, but Tatu and Tuts are here as well. But everyone's coming from GAM. Can Kiaya buy the time? He's trying to kite out, drops the ulti here. Levi around, Tatu going forward, Gigo getting incredibly low as well. GAM are just going to back it up and wait for Eris. That was a very dangerous fight on either side, but at the end of the day, no kills do happen.
I love the idea there from Furia. They knew that Kiaya would try and punish Gigo, and so they're right there to support him. But the barrel damage was just crazy. Gigo and Tatu were almost killed. If it wasn't for the arrival of Toots, it would have ended in disaster. But he was forced to flash away. Kiaya just barely gets away with his life. And GAM, they're not hesitating, though. They're back out onto the map. They're pressuring this
quick reactions there from Levi. Toots had the ulti fully stacked and tried to go for Levi as he stepped up to that brush, but Levi immediately reacted and is able to immune it with his W. Really well played by him. Eris now 16, does have the death cap. Levi hitting 16. All of these key items are coming through. Bloodthirster done for Artemis. He's on 16 as well. Furia going to struggle to have the damage to really get over the hump here, but Gigo's trying to desperately charge up that Narbar. We'll see if he can find a game-changing play.
Pressure continues to mount as Furia do their best to defend with the Baron worn off. Gamma chipping away, but the tower remains steadfast. Elder spawns in 2 minutes' time. Furia, that will be their last hope. If they can steal away the Elder, Toots can completely change the dynamic of the game. Ayu doing what he can to farm up close to level 16. The last whisper for Lord Dominic's regard soon to follow.
The Seeker's done as well. Going to be big there for Toots. Can allow him to go a little bit more aggressive, go in, spend that first round of spells, go golden, and try to buy the time for the next one. But it doesn't feel like GAM are really willing to push in. They are happy to just control the enemy jungle, deny vision here, and set up for this Elder. That is where they feel more comfortable taking the fight. They don't want to look for the siege.
Look at the vision, man. Like, it's just wards, 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 just full control over the whole bot side jungle.
I mean, you can't see anything if you're on the Furia side. You know, if you toggle vision to Furia, they've got no vision on that entire section of the map. It is really, really tough for them to be able to actually walk out and even get close to the Elder, but they do still have over a minute to try to get that done.
Tuts looking for a pick on the top side of the map. You can see Furia getting quite creative with their ideas of trying to punish, but this has just given GAM even more space. 60 seconds now until the Elder.
Worth noting, Elio has swapped over to Spellbook Smite, so they are going to have double Smite here for the Elder to try to guarantee that they can secure this. It's going to be up to Tatu and the rest of his team to even try to get him in a position where he can try to steal it.
I will also say Artemis, like with the Bloodthirster shield and the magic resistant shield that's going to come through, he is that much harder to kill.
Yep, there's a big task here for Tuts, and he's going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Is level 18 on the casket, and the fight going to break out. Tatu in trouble already. Tatu down incredibly low. The heal comes through, does keep him alive just barely. They've chunked him out. It's back to base for the jungler here. And it's only 20 seconds now until the spawn happens. Levi over the wall, going to be spotted by a ward. And Jojo gets eyes on him.
There as well. A big ulti unavailable for the ensuing fight. He gets back out onto the map as quickly as he can. It's GAM with the push in the mid lane. Again, full control over the bot side river. Tuts trying his best to chip away at the HP of GAM, but they're not feeling it. Shockwave.
Eris going to force the flash out of IU, but this could actually be big. This means no Shockwave if they can force a fight right now. So I think Furia are going to try to go.
Starting.
They need to try to make something happen right here, right now, but GAM are just blocking their way in towards the Elder. Tuts goes forward. He's looking. He's trying to see if he can find something, but the Elder is already secured by GAM, and now it is time to run. IU's in trouble. Levi's in the backline on it. Jojo. Tuts trying to make it happen on the side, but he can't get the damage down. IU will fall. The base is open. Gigo is running for it, but there's nowhere you can go. Levi is on the hunt, and he is hungry.
GAM provide no opportunities to Furia, no chances to even get in range of the Elder Dragon, and with that secured, they've set the Nexus in their eyes.
Into a pause. That was a teleport coming through from Tuts as he was trying to get back to base to defend. They are without their AD carry. They can try to defend, but they don't have any wave clear. Your Castan is your mid laner. You're up against Elder. You're up against Soul. It feels like it's almost all over here for GAM. It feels like they can close out the series within the next minute or so.
Furia will need to find some incredible play to turn this final game around. The Cassadin alone is not enough. The damage from GAM seems so monstrous. The top side putting in huge work. The bounce back from the bottom lane. GAM on the verge of an incredible victory. Both teams have fought so valiantly, but with the Elder Dragon, this game feels like a foregone conclusion.
It's going to take perfection from Furia, and it's going to take mistakes, let's be honest, from GAM. If they were to be able to turn around this game, to even be able to hold at the Elder is such a tough task. The objective was designed as a game ender. It's supposed to be there to close out the game. It is so hard when you're already down so much gold, plus the Infernal Soul, and now you have effectively more than 20% less HP because there's the XQ plus the true damage burn. It's going to be very, very difficult. So the players have got to try to stay locked in, to try to stay calm, think through how can we problem solve in this moment to keep our hopes at this tournament alive. Would be absolutely heartbreaking for Furia if they are knocked out in this way. 2 Game 5 losses in back-to-back days.
I mean, Furia have demonstrated their potential here at MSI. They've come at the very verge of coming so close, but now it's GAM knocking on the Nexus doors.
So the update I have been given is that there was a bug report made by Furia, so they have reported that something went wrong in the game. That will be investigated, of course. Our Comp Ops team will be looking into that, investigating was it a bug? If it was a bug, was it gameplay impacting? And we will give you the updates as soon as we have any more information. But for now, it is GAM well and truly in the driver's seat, looking like they are moments away from closing out this series. That man on your screen has certainly played his part in it. Levi with a lot of heroics, but Tatu on the other side has been very impressive as well. Furia really have shown up and shown their class on the international stage.
They've showcased some really impressive stuff throughout the series. But for me, like, Kiaya has really had a phenomenal series. While he couldn't always translate his leads into game wins, it feels like in every single game he was getting the better of Gigo in the 1v1. I feel like that in the games where he had his impact, you could really feel it. And in game 5 on the Gangplank, my goodness, the GP ult, like, if you could just isolate how much damage that did, like, it has to be insanely high. It's such, like, we don't see Gangplank that much. We get to look back at this replay. So the Elder gets secured by the duo of Kiaya and Artemis. Then the engage comes through, and I love the use of the Gangplank ultimate early. Look at how much damage he's able to do onto Ayu. They turn their attention onto whatever target they can hit. Levi forcing Jojo and Tuts out of the fight, and then it gives an angle for Artemis to ulti in, take out the AD carry, and it just becomes cleanup. Furia's goal is to try and get back to base as quickly as possible because they know they don't want to fight the Elder Dragon.
Yeah.
And so if they can just get back to base, defend, wave clear, maybe they can stall things out. The Elder doesn't last as long as the Baron does, so maybe there's a way, but losing 2 members, I mean, it's going to be a very difficult defense against GAM.
Yeah, no kidding. And I mean, it's 2 of your only kind of ranged characters who can actually help you clear out these waves, right? Because you can't fight into Elder, so you need the Ezreal, you need the Gnar to be able to maybe thin these waves and buy time for the Elder to potentially expire or for something to happen. But even if it was different members alive, GAM in a 5v3 with Elder, with Soul, they are diving. That is the kind of team that this is. They are going to force the issue as they have all series long. And Kiaya, I fully agree. This guy has just been doing it at the top level, at the elite level for so many years. Regardless of the surrounding cast, Kiaya always looks good at the international level. He comes and he performs. He has been so consistent for so many years. Really one of the most impressive players from the region to me. Has just been always a standout.
He certainly has been. And when we look at GAM's trajectory, the journey that they took to get here, a lot of the way in which this team has found success has been playing through this top side. Levi and Kiaya are a heart of the team. They're a lot of the voice of the team in terms of their shot calling. And as a reminder, whoever wins in this series will move on to play the loser of BLG versus G2, which is the series that will happen right after this one.
Exactly. You know, Furia obviously hungry for a potential rematch against G2 if G2 were to fall. You know, but we're not going to be able to solve this just yet, so we're going to be heading on over to the analyst desk to hear what they've got to say.
Welcome back to the analyst desk. In these situations, you're probably never happy to see us. But as we investigate further when it comes to this potential bug, you know, we need a little bit of time. Give our casters a bit of a break as we talk and wait for more updates from the competitive operations team. This series has been a roller coaster, gang.
It has.
Raz.
Yo, what's up?
You're here now.
I am.
Thank you for joining us. What has your take been on the series thus far and the game 5 so far? We haven't gotten to hear as much from you today.
It's so hectic. I mean, the fact that Cassidy was able to open up with like 2 kills really early on, able to get to his Road, I thought this was going to be a pretty smooth game for the team. What sucked was the Otacon start. Because I know Furia as a team is always the one that wants to start the fight, get a skirmish going. So starting Otacon when you are level 15 on Cassidy and really haven't been able to like send him on sides and keep him on sides, that was frustrating to me. So that was rough. So now you're in a state where, yes, you just lost a massive fight and just one more push and game's over. So they just really, honestly, I don't know what the pause is. We're going to find out. We're going to figure it out at least to see the status of it. But if it doesn't go your way, you're going home.
It's grim, right? I think to exist longer in this moment, of course, anytime there's any bug or you expect there's a bug, you pause, you check in with the ref. That's something we expect, something absolutely the players should be doing. But in a context like this, in a situation like this, it's difficult because now you're sitting in this feeling after a potential game, series, tournament losing team fight, stewing in that moment. So even if we come back to game and they manage to hold on, the mental recovery, the pressure on Furia, this has to be one of the hardest situations to endure imaginable.
The nerves have to be crazy. Like, my palms are sweaty. If you're the caster, you have that kind of a lead, and you're figuring out.
Shake
like,
my hand, Raz. Oh my God, your palms are sweaty.
Right? I get nervous for people. That's why it's not good to be next to you sometimes.
You're saying my anxiety rubs off on you?
It happens. I've seen your dog. That dog is also nervous as hell sometimes.
Wow.
It booped me in the head.
Raz just coming on, throwing me under the bus.
I think Raz doesn't.
And your dog.
Is like he's just.
Leave my dog alone.
This is a Raz classic, you know. He's,
Yeah, it
he's
is.
gotten too emotional on behalf of Fury. He has to balance it out by roasting somebody. And
I have
sorry,
to.
Emily,
No,
it
I'm
seems
used to
like you're
it.
the nearest target.
We're close friends. I'm used to this.
Yeah,
Trust
of course,
me.
of course. I will say that I was skeptical initially when we came into these drafts as to how effective these compositions were going to be, the relative lack of hard engage. But I do think that the Nefiri Orianna combo has looked incredibly consistent, much more reliable than I thought it would be. Some good Trundle pillars here or there to interrupt it, but it's a combo I think we're going to be seeing more throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, the interesting thing to me with GAM specifically is in these, if we're presuming, considering the game state, that GAM will be able to close this out and move on. And the previous game is that Levi has kind of shifted from what I thought his role was kind of throughout Split 2, which was more of a facilitator, right? Like engager, kind of setting up team fights for the team, but not being the primary damage dealer.
Yeah.
In these past 2 games, the Viego game and now the Nefiri, he has been an additional carry on the team, and it's been kind of a return to the classic Levi that I was familiar with from years prior.
Yeah, when he's on the Maokai and stuff, I always feel like that's a great band-aid for the team because they can play front to back. It creates innate structure. That's why I felt like I liked it most when they were going up against CF4, when they're going up against like bigger teams. But now being able to go into what Levi is so good at, being the carry that has automatic direction. Like if he goes in, you better go in. It really does help the team, and I feel like they are just getting better throughout this series.
Yeah, and I think that this is kind of the improvement that you want to have if this is the continuation of the tournament run. Facing up tomorrow, whoever wins here, of course, against the loser of BLG versus G2. BLG versus G2, our second match, winner will qualify through. So whoever plays tomorrow, again, the pressure just continues. Once you are in this lower bracket, it does not get any easier.
And I feel like, personally, for both of these teams, they've been under that pressure yesterday, and they must have a level of confidence. Fury as a team getting confidence, knowing that like they were so close, one game away from taking down G2. Same could be said for GAM. Sure, it was a 0-3, but like they had the early games down. They just feel like they needed a few more tweaks.
We do now have an official update. So at 35:58 in-game time, Furia paused, reported a potential bug to League officials, and after investigation, League officials have confirmed the bug and are in the process of initiating a chrono break to 6 seconds earlier at 35:52. If you're here on YouTube, of course, you can scroll back, figure out exactly what that was. Hopefully we can get a clip on screen shortly to show you what the state of the game will be at 35:52. So we kind of know what we're hot dropping into here, but of course chrono breaks do take a little bit of time, so we are just in the process of setting back to that game state.
We're hanging out.
Hanging out.
I'm pulling up YouTube myself. I got to figure out what that part of the game was.
It's good. Good initiative, Rez.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. You could scroll, but you're hitting back by 5
we
seconds.
are watching
500
Raz
times.
just hit the,
Honestly,
the backwards
if we
button
get this on
instead
camera,
of
I see
just-
Betty right over there. Betty will
instead of
cast
just
Raz trying to find the
rewinding.
moment on YouTube. I can see it. I can see it in his eyes. He's keen.
He's looking over at us and laughing, yes.
Yeah. So
Betty's laughing at you, Raz. How do you feel
I'm not
about
even
that?
looking back at him.
a little bit more time as our
35:52 is after the fight.
35:52 after the fight. Okay, so for those concerned, because I can imagine for the Furia fans, or excuse me, for the GAM fans out there, worried that a chrono break might take away. All right, we're getting the bird's eye view of that time in game, 35:52. So as you can see, still incredibly comfortable position for the side of GAM. This is after the fight is already broken out, and you can see that this is the cast and retreat, maybe trying to pull that mid wave. So it seems unlikely that this will have a massive negative effect, although we have been clear to say the bug did prevent a teleport to a tower. So that may result in a base defense that allows Furia to play this game out. So excellent call from the players. That is something you don't want to ignore it, even if the game does seem like it's in a dire state. But it seems like we are dropping back into a game state that is incredibly GAM favored.
Yeah.
Although after the chrono break, a little bit better for Furia now that the bug will no longer be in effect.
Let's list it. 40-second death timers on Ezreal and Gnar, Infernal Soul and Elder for GAM. I don't know, a miracle has to be made. We've seen some crazy stuff like the Ahri being able to steal Baron, so like miracles have already been done.
I think the struggle is we've seen the Kassadin hasn't really delivered in the same, times up level 16 way that we often expect it to. So we're going to need to see Furia dig deep and show us something that really hasn't shown up in this game. But as you highlighted, it is something that has shown up in this series. A lot of clutch moments coming out of the mid lane.
What is so frustrating if you're looking at the Kassadin's perspective from Toot's POV is just if the combination from Orianna and Furia is just being held, how do you ever go in? Because like, sure, now that you're level 16, like past that point, you can always feel like you're going in and out, but then they're just going to be able to follow you. So it's really difficult. It's just going to be a test on GAM whether they can end with the conditions that they have. And if they can't, then yes, you're in a late game situation where, you know, you can just get cleaned up. So really, really testy. I wonder what the mental state's going to be. I like the fact that Furia has already been in a Game 5 series just yesterday, so they're a little bit more prepared for this.
Sure. Of course, it is important to note, though, I think just a reminder, the odds are about as stacked against them as they could possibly be. There is a sliver of hope.
Are you providing the sliver, Emily?
No, I was actually going to provide more
the reality.
Don't do that. Don't hit him with another reality check.
It's basically, yeah, like this does make sense. You know, they want to TP back to base for the base defense, right? However, the game state is not in their favor at all, right?
Yep.
We have a situation where it's going to be really, really difficult for Furia to stop this oncoming push that GAM are about to have, in particular because of that Drake take, because they are down in numbers, and yeah, it's a very, very rough game state.
Probably the mental's a little bit of a rougher state. The odds stacked against them. Okay.
The first time I've seen, unless if you want to continue on to another point.
I was just going to remind people really quickly before you continue to your point that if you're just joining us, whether you stepped away at the start of the pause or you're just coming in now for Game 5, at 35:58 in game time, Furia paused. They reported a potential bug to League officials. League officials confirmed that that bug prevented Toots from teleporting to a tower. We are now in the process of initiating a chrono break to 6 seconds earlier, 35:52. If you don't know where that timestamp is, we've covered it once before, but reminder that the Elder's still gone. Everything is still looking like GAM are poised to clean this one up, but potentially that teleport will allow him to make a once-in-a-lifetime base defense.
Yeah.
And now I feel like we're waiting, you know, for the season finale of a good season of Game of Thrones, not the last one. So we're, you know, the next time is going to be really good. We've been left on a cliffhanger. If GAM close it out, it will go exactly as expected. No M. Night Shyamalan-esque twist. But if there is a miracle defensive hold, this has certainly made everything a little bit more dramatic. But we're going to be back soon, so we are going to send things back over to the caster desk to continue this discussion.
What's the twist, Vedius?
What's the twist?
Tell us. It's on you.
I hate it when they ask me questions. I'm not engaging with you, okay? You don't make any sense ever. Instead, I'm going to focus in on what is an intense moment between these two teams because Furia find their backs against the wall. They have 3 members alive. Their only option is to defend the siege with an Elder, 5 members of GAM, staring them in the eye. It feels like a foregone conclusion. Of course, the teleport, whenever you see a bug, it is important that you report that bug, especially with something like a teleport. You need to get back to base ASAP.
Yep.
And so for Furia, it's totally understandable why they would make this. This is their last opportunity to keep their hopes alive. And the base defense, 3 versus 5, they'll have to put everything on the line to stay in this game.
And the reality is, as bleak as things look for Furia, there's a reason why we play the games out. Because sometimes miracles happen. Sometimes things do not go to expectations. Sometimes mistakes are made. So you have to be locked in. I always feel sympathy for these players in these moments where, you know, the amount of adrenaline that is pumping through you in these moments, and then to, you know, have this break where you have to kind of cool out, but you still have to stay locked in enough. And it's looking like we are back to live. We are back to in the game here. And there is the teleport being used back to the base here from Toots. GAM on the march here, looking to close out game number 5 in what has been a back and forth series. Tatu healing up in the base, as is Toots. Jojo still on the recall, but they are not going to be waiting for him. It's going to be all up to Toots. He's really the only one who can try to get anything done. The tower being focused down. Redemption comes through to heal him up. Toots is going to be put with the exhaust. He's trying to kite back. He's trying to go in and make something happen, but can he do it? He cannot. GAM will wipe Furia off the map, will knock them out of MSI, and will advance to the next round.
GAM show up huge in game 5. The combination of the Nefiri on the Orianna was instrumental in their success. Kiaya's gangplank, the bot lane weathering the storm. Furia put up a valiant fight throughout this series, but it was GAM that walks away victorious.
Credit to GAM, overcoming so many difficult situations. Really deserving winners here today. Especially the top side for me, just really showed out.